What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cozy Takes, man. The long-awaited Playboi Carti episode. We've been talking about this for over a year now. It's about time that we just get it done. Get into it. So without further ado, initial comments. What you got?
We're talking Carti, man. Initial comments. Carti is the most controversial rapper in the game right now. Right? He dropped Whole Lotta Red. He has Die Lit. He has Self-Titled. But the main thing we really want to talk about is like just Carti in general, but how he is just a disruptor in rap. And I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I 100% agree. The article was by Complex.
Complex.
The article is about Complex, basically saying that he's a disruptor in the rap game, always going against basically the norms of rap. And I mean, ever since Self-Titled, we can see that. I mean, he basically came in and made his own genre pretty much with this whole SoundCloud era. And I don't know. To call him a disruptor is probably the perfect way to put it. I mean, look at a Whole Lotta Red. At a time when everyone wanted baby voice Carti, he comes out and gives us this rage Carti with distorted 808s, you know, music clipping, him just not saying a word. And it went from one of the most laughable albums to one of the best albums of the past year.
Yeah, and Rolling Stone called it their #1 album of the year. And, you know, in a way it was, maybe because of its impact, because we talk about Donda and its impact, right? Everything sounds like Whole Lotta Red now, right? Because now you have Yeet, right? And Yeet's coming up, and you have all these other artists that are sounding like Carti is on Whole Lotta Red. They're yelling, right? They're using distortion on their voices. You said like distorted 808s.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it now because of this album. Maybe not solely because of this album, but it's a huge factor.
Right.
Yeah.
And to build off of that, like, I wouldn't even stop to say that Whole Lotta Red is the only place we see this influence. I think even with Self-Titled and Die Lit, he started a whole new wave. For example, there's rappers like Uno the Activist. No shade to Uno, by the way, but Uno the Activist follows very similarly to the paths that
they came up together.
Yeah. They take the same kind of paths. So Uno started off with like rapping kind of like Carti as well when Carti first came out, you know? And then now with Whole Lotta Red out, we see Uno the Activist changing his flow again to kind of adapt to those rage beats and whatnot. So the influence this man has doesn't just stop at Uno the Activist, but that is just a good example.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I think that Carti has such a distinct sound and that he has that influence when he drops an album, in that Complex article, he talks about how he doesn't listen to any music. Like, he doesn't listen to, like, he loves his peers, he says, but I don't listen to their music. And they were like, why? He said, because I need to stay in my own bag. He said, because the music I make is the music I make, and I don't want to be copying somebody else and making somebody else's sound. I want mine to be, you know, distinct to who I am.
Exactly. And that distinct sound is like so contagious, man. I mean, I'm like addicted to the Playboi Carti. I mean, I'm listening to Leaks, I'm listening to Self-Titled on repeat, I'm listening to Die Lit on repeat, I'm listening to a Whole Lotta Red top to bottom, and I'm not getting bored. So that's showing that his music is going to last. That's showing that his music is going to last. Something I also want to talk about with Carti is like, what's next, you know?
Yeah.
What's next? Where do you go after a Whole Lotta Red?
That's a great question because he's came with something different every single time. Right. So like Self-Titled, you could actually understand what he was saying, right?
Yeah.
You can understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
And then you get to Die Lit and you hear more baby voice Carti.
Right.
And just like there was criticism with baby voice Carti, there was, if almost 10 times as much criticism with Whole Lotta Red or Vamp Carti.
Exactly.
Right. And the fact that he does that and every time it sticks. Right. So what's the next thing that's going to stick, right? Is it going to push the envelope even more what he's doing now?
Right.
Or is it going to be something totally we've never seen before? Right.
And that's what makes me excited for Narcissist, if that is the next album. At this point, it seems like maybe that may be out the window. But I don't know what's going to be next for Carti. And that's something that's kind of good. The fact that we don't know what to expect. Because there's some artists that drop albums and like we know what to expect. For example, Gunna dropped DS4, and before it came out, I knew what to expect. I mean, half the album is leaked, and on top of it being leaked, it's just Gunna. You know, I know what it's going to be like. Carti, for example, we have no idea. For the longest time, I thought a Whole Lotta Red was going to be half the leaks I've been listening to. And I'm very glad he actually didn't do that because some artists are just lazy and throw that out. But something else I want to talk about with Carti, just to get off that little topic, is I want to say that he's very, very good with his intros. He has very memorable intros, and Location,
Rockstar made,
and Long Time, 3 of the greatest intros in like rap album history, I would say. Rockstar Made did take a minute to grow on me, but
it did, because at first when I heard Rockstar Made, or even when I just saw the title,
right,
I was like, okay, so that's what I'm getting into now, right? And it totally was,
right?
Because Rockstar, okay, so it was a Christmas album, greatest Christmas album ever dropped.
Greatest Christmas album of all time.
And me and him both said it was a 24-song album that he shot 3 for 24 in that album when on first listen, and we both said that we were laughing, right? But Rockstar made now, like, and I think a lot of it has to do with his tour too.
Yeah,
seeing those songs live, I couldn't imagine what it's like. Like that's a whole different playing field, right? Mm-hmm. But like songs like New Tank,
right?
Hated it.
Right.
Hated it so bad.
I thought it was gay.
But like New Tank, I like that song now. It just gets me lit. Like same thing where we talk about. It doesn't matter what he's saying. Mm-hmm. No matter how it makes you feel, right? It makes you want to rage, right? It makes you want to like just have fun. I think that was the goal of the album, and I think it was executed perfectly.
Yeah. And honestly, with Carti, it's kind of what I said about Pierre in the last episode. How like you put Carti in just to like listen and you're vibing. Yeah. And that's what's different about Carti in like this little genre, or I don't even know what the genre or era, I guess we would say, of these kind of rappers. Mm-hmm. Like Carti and Pierre, that era. Basically, we could just say that that's like an era where like you don't really need to focus to these raps. You can just put it in, and it's just like all about the beat, you know. Yeah. The beat is the main thing you're looking forward to, and also like the way that he's vibing and the flow on the beat.
And it's almost his vocals are a complement of the beat.
Yeah.
Right? So he's not overstepping. Mm-hmm. He's not, because you see a lot of rappers, like if you're very lyrical, you need to listen to what I'm saying. Yeah. Right. You need to like listen to the point I'm trying to make in the song.
Exactly.
Maybe on what is it? What's one of the last songs? Oh, Feel Like Dying. Right. That's one of the only songs where I think he was actually saying something like of meaning.
If you look at like his history, he doesn't have a lot of commercial success. I was looking at it. The man's only been nominated for 4 awards, and he hasn't won any. One of the 4 we have to wait till because he's nominated for a Grammy. Yeah. With Donda, so he may get a Grammy. If Playboi Carti gets a Grammy, I mean it doesn't really matter.
That's for the culture.
Yeah, right there. It's for the culture, for real. It is definitely for the culture. Like, I don't know. The fact that he can do all this and still be respected by so many great rappers, like almost every rapper in the game pretty much respects Carti. I mean, rightly so. I mean, he doesn't just influence music. He also influences fashion.
Yes. So he came out with bicycle helmets and jackets, and he was the first to wear those freaking big ass Rick Owens shoes with the gray ties on them. And now everybody wears them.
Yeah, everyone's got Rick, bro.
Everybody's got Rick now, right? And we can also think A$AP Rocky and the whole A$AP mob for wearing Rick. But still, he's influencing more than just music, like you said. So yeah, it's Playboi Carti is at the center of what a lot of new rappers, either what they want to be, right? What these new rappers want to be is what Playboi Carti already is. Right. So when you ask, where's Playboi Carti going next? Totally away from whatever everybody else wants to do, right? And one thing I wanted to ask you, so we talk about like the evolution of hip hop, right? I don't even know if I would call a whole lot of red hip hop, at this point, right? And I think Playboi Carti is the first person to really mix rock music, like punk music, and hip hop, right? And hip hop rap, and do it effectively. I wanted to hear your opinion on that.
I agree. I would say he definitely is the first one to push that punk rock agenda. I don't even know what the technical term is. Punk rap, I guess. I don't know, but it's something I've never seen before, and I think that's why everyone was so confused at first. Like, what is this? Like, it's new, and it's not something we would expect from Playboi Carti, and we get it, and it's something amazing. But yeah, I mean, just seeing that evolution of Playboi Carti is like the most exciting thing about it for me, because like. Who would have thought that he would be doing that down the line?
Who would have thought that, like, I bought a house for my mama off this mumbling shit. Right. To, like, now most controversial, biggest album of the year. Right. Right? Because there was so much, hyped up, right? Because he said he was going to drop it, and then he didn't. Right. Right? And then, because he said it was like, oh, it's going to drop Monday. Right. And then everybody was so excited, it didn't drop. And then would it take, like, 3 months after that for it to drop? Right. Maybe longer. Because leaks kept coming out. When he builds up that amount of like fandom, builds up that much amount of like excitement, and then it comes out and people are confused. Right. They're so confused. And then it takes a great artist for them to really understand like what he was going for. Right. And I know that Playboi Carti fan, because I remember reading comments on like Instagram when it first came out, and it was half and half.
Right.
It was like, this is the best album ever, or he completely missed.
Yeah, literally.
There was no in between. So I think more people now are starting to get that it's not as much for him wanting people to like the music. It's like, he doesn't care if you like the music or not. But he wants you to know that I'm like pushing something different. Yeah. And that's his goal. And I think that's what makes Playboi Carti great.
Yeah, no, that's a great point actually. That's a great point. And to even build off that, like, that's proven by the fact that like Carti posts these albums and doesn't say shit. Like literally, he'll drop a whole lot of red, and if he posts a picture, you're gonna get no caption. Yeah. People are commenting, no, he's not responding to nobody. I don't hear too many interviews from Carti, to be honest. Which is like, he does just do his own thing.
Like when I heard "Jump Out the House," I was like, he thinks this is funny. Right. Like he really thinks this shit's funny. Too, like I was so excited for this album, and then I heard "Jump Out the House," and I was like, oh, so he's playing with me right now, huh? No. But like, honestly, when it's all wrapped up, and at the end of the day, you are going to remember Playboi Carti as the disruptor in hip hop. And whether you appreciate it or not, other people will. Right. Right. And there is going to be a lot of influence as a result of that. Right. So you have Plug-in B. You can even call Plug-in B like a sort of. You can call Plug-in B a sort of influence from Carti. Right. A major influence from Carti. Right. But then you have these guys who are like, I don't want to say like Yeet. Right. That's not. I guess that's Plug-in B, but it's harder Plug-in B. You see NBA YoungBoy like trying to scream in his songs like Carti, right? And that's not a Plug-in B rapper. No. That's one of the hardest niggas in the game.
No, for real.
Trying to rap like Carti. Right. So whether you appreciate it or not, if you're an NBA YoungBoy fan, you should appreciate it. If you're a Yeet fan, you should appreciate it. If you're a fan of rap at all,
I was just about to say,
you should appreciate that shit. Like, and that's really what the point of this episode is. And I think this is the point that Complex was trying to make in their article. He's a disruptor, and whether you like it or not, it's happening. Yeah. So
there's not much we can do to stop Playboi Carti, and I personally don't care because I like the music. I like the music, and I mean, just to wrap it up, I just want to hear your ranking of his big three, man.
The big three.
The big three. What's your ranking?
So I'm gonna have to go Die Lit at 1, right? Okay. Because I think it's my most enjoyed. Right. There's so many hits on there. Like Shooter is probably one of like the most. It's one of the songs for the youth. Right. Yeah. No. 100%. It's a youth song. Like that's why I love it, and I think that album has to be number 1 for me. Honestly, I would put Whole Lotta Red at 2, and then Self-Titled at 3. But that has nothing to say that Self-Titled isn't a great album because it had Magnolia, and it's what put him on. So right. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Self-Titled at 1. Completely opposite scale.
Yeah,
I'll probably go Die Lit 2 and Whole Lotta Red 3. I do love Whole Lotta Red. Like you said, like the 3 doesn't mean it's the worst or like anything. It just means enjoyability. I listen to Self-Titled a lot more. Die Lit was like a staple in my high school career. But I mean, Self-Titled, man. I mean, I go back to that album so often.
Number 9.
I literally was about to say I listened to Number 9 like. There was a week I just listened to that on repeat. I'd finish it, all right, run it back. All right, finish it, run it back. Like, the beats on this album are ridiculous. Flex is literally probably one of his best songs ever. Yeah. Kelly K, all these songs, man. He just, as we like keep saying, man, like he goes from Location, all this stuff, to Shooter and Rip and Lean for Real, man. And then he goes from that to Rockstar Made, New Take, Beano, and all this, man. It's crazy how this dude can continually reinvent himself and still be entertaining.
Yeah, and he's going to continue to do it. And like he said, and I didn't really have an answer for him when he said, like, what's next for Carti. Right. We really don't know. Like, we can't tell you what's next for Playboi Carti. But what we can tell you is that if it's happening, we will be covering it here on Cozy Takes. So, thank you guys for tuning in. This is Winston T. This is Donovan Johnson. Make sure to check us out on Spotify, on Apple, and on Anchor. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.